A black woman was drenched with Coca-Cola at work. But her billionaire husband's revenge was instant and savage. The cold soda cascaded down Sage Cameron's cheek, drenching her crisp white blouse and splashing onto the meticulously organized reports scattered across her desk. Time seemed to freeze in the sleek, open-concept office of Paragon Marketing Solutions as the sticky brown liquid dripped from her naturally coiled hair, leaving dark stains on the documents she'd spent all night perfecting. "Oops," Scarlett Harper's voice cut through the sudden silence, her red lips curving into a cruel smile. "It looks like you needed cooling off diversity hire." She dangled the empty Coca-Cola can between manicured fingers, not attempting to hide her satisfaction. Tyler Harris laughed exaggeratedly, raising his phone to capture Sage's humiliation. "This is gold. The affirmative action project is getting what she deserves." His expensive cologne wafted through the air as he circled Sage's desk like a vulture. #workplace reality check. At 29, Sage Cameron was the only black data analyst in the prestigious Manhattan firm. For 8 months, she had endured the sideways glances, backhanded compliments, and the constant need to prove herself. But this public degradation crossed every line. Several colleagues watched from their desks, some with uncomfortable expressions, others poorly concealing their amusement. It was Friday afternoon before a holiday weekend, the office half empty, the perfect opportunity for calculated cruelty. "You're dripping all over those reports," Brianna added with mock concern from her nearby desk, her lips pursed in fake sympathy. "But honestly, they probably needed rewriting anyway. Your analysis never quite hits the mark, does it?" Sage stood slowly, dignity coating her movements, despite the soda dampening her clothes. Her expression remained composed, revealing nothing of the storm brewing within. She didn't scramble for napkins, or react with tears as they clearly expected. Instead, she methodically removed her company badge, placed it on the desk, and reached for her phone. What no one in that office realized as they laughed at her expense was that Sage Cameron wasn't who they thought she was at all. She wasn't broken, she wasn't defeated, and she certainly wasn't alone. When Sage Cameron first arrived at Paragon Marketing Solutions, she came with impressive credentials and quiet confidence. She had graduated top of her class with dual degrees in data science and business analytics. Her portfolio showcased innovative market research methodologies that had caught the eye of several Fortune 500 companies. Yet from day one, her colleagues seemed determined to overlook her achievements. It began subtly. In meetings, her ideas were acknowledged with stiff nods before someone else. Usually Tyler or Scarlett would repackage the same concept minutes later to enthusiastic praise. When group projects yielded successful results, her contributions were minimized or attributed to others. Her emails required follow-ups to receive responses, while her white counterparts got immediate attention. "Love that cardigan, Sage," Scarlett had remarked during Sage's first week, eyeing Sage's modest wardrobe with thinly veiled disdain. "Very practical. I guess not everyone prioritizes appearance in a professional setting." Tyler had chimed in, leaning against her cubicle wall. "Yeah, we're pretty fashion-forward here. Designer labels only." He'd made a show of adjusting his Rolex. "But don't worry, I'm sure you'll catch up once those diversity paychecks start rolling in." Sage had simply nodded, refusing to engage with their transparent attempts to make her feel inadequate. "Thanks for the input," she'd responded politely, returning to her analysis while ignoring the exchange of smirks. The microaggressions escalated over time. Lunch invitations excluded her. Important information was accidentally left off emails where she was a stakeholder. Her work was scrutinized more heavily than anyone else's, with minor errors magnified into evidence of incompetence. "Surprised you got that calculation right," Tyler had remarked after she'd presented flawless projections during a quarterly review. "Did someone help you with the math?" Each day brought new indignities, carefully crafted to seem minor in isolation but crushing in their cumulative effect. When Sage arrived early to claim a conference room for client calls, she would return from grabbing coffee to find Scarlett's team had mistakenly booked the same space. When she stayed late to complete projects, security would question her presence while white colleagues worked undisturbed. Through it all, Sage maintained her composure, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her crack. She documented every incident meticulously, but never filed formal complaints. She knew how these stories typically ended, with the accuser labeled difficult or unable to handle pressure. Instead, she focused on excellence, letting her work speak for itself, or trying to at least. The morning of the Coca-Cola incident had begun like any other. Sage arrived at 7:30 earlier than most, to prepare for an important stakeholder presentation. She had spent weeks analyzing market trends, identifying untapped demographic opportunities for their biggest client, a luxury automotive brand struggling to connect with younger consumers. Her findings were groundbreaking, revealing patterns the company had overlooked for years. The presentation was bulletproof, backed by data so compelling that even Evelyn White, the perpetually unimpressed department head, would have to acknowledge its merit. Or so she thought. At the morning briefing, Evelyn had barely glanced at Sage's meticulously prepared slides before turning to Scarlett. "What do you think of this approach, Scarlett? Does it align with your vision for the campaign?" Scarlett had smiled, tossing her blonde hair over one shoulder. "It's interesting, but I think we need something more innovative. These conclusions seem rather basic." Sage watched in disbelief as her weeks of work were dismissed without consideration. When she attempted to explain the methodology behind her findings, Tyler cut her off. "We all know diversity candidates need extra time to catch up," he said with false kindness. "Maybe stick to data entry until you understand how things work around here." By afternoon, the tension had reached a breaking point. Sage overheard Scarlett, Tyler, and Brianna laughing about her presentation in the break room, mocking her community college approach to analytics, despite her Ivy League education. Then came the Coca-Cola, the laughter, the filming, the final humiliation they'd clearly been building toward for months. But as Sage stood there, soda dripping from her curls, she didn't tremble with shame or fear. She typed a simple message on her phone. "It's time." The sleek black Bentley pulled up outside Paragon Marketing Solutions precisely 12 minutes after Sage's text. Security guards straightened their postures as a tall, commanding figure emerged from the vehicle. His custom Tom Ford suit couldn't hide the athletic build beneath, and his confident stride spoke of a man accustomed to authority. Desmond Cameron didn't visit his holdings regularly. As CEO of Cameron Enterprises, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that owned the parent company of Paragon Marketing and 37 other businesses across 4 continents, he preferred to delegate. But some matters required personal attention. The security team recognized him immediately. "Mr. Cameron, sir," the lead guard stammered. "We weren't informed you'd be visiting today." Desmond's expression remained impassive. That was intentional. His deep voice carried quiet authority. "I'll be heading to the 14th floor. No announcements." The elevator ride was brief. As the doors slid open to Paragon's reception area, Desmond's presence immediately commanded attention. Conversations halted mid-sentence. Phones were lowered. The receptionist's eyes widened in recognition. "Mr. Cameron," she gasped, fumbling with her headset. "Should I alert Miss White?" "That won't be necessary," he replied, his gaze already scanning the open office layout. He spotted his wife immediately, standing tall despite her soaked clothing, dignity radiating from her every pore even as her tormentors laughed around her. Desmond moved through the office with purpose, weaving between desks as employees whispered in his wake. Most had never seen him in person, though his face regularly appeared in business publications. Few made the connection between the billionaire entrepreneur and the quiet analyst they'd been tormenting. Scarlett noticed him first, her laughter dying on her lips as she registered his approach. Something about his determined stride made her take an instinctive step backward. Tyler turned next, his smug expression faltering as he lowered his phone. Desmond reached Sage's desk and gently touched her shoulder. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice soft enough that only she could hear. Sage nodded almost imperceptibly. Her eyes met his, communicating volumes without words. He turned to face the group, his expression hardening as he surveyed the scene. The empty soda can, the stained documents, the phone still recording. "I'm Desmond Cameron," he stated simply, letting the name hang in the air. Realization dawned slowly on their faces. Scarlett paled visibly, while Tyler's mouth opened and closed without producing sound. "Cameron," as in Cameron Enterprises. Brianna whispered, her voice suddenly small. The same Desmond confirmed. Owner of Horizon Media Group, which owns Paragon Marketing Solutions. He paused, letting the implications sink in. And husband to Sage Cameron, whom you've just assaulted. The silence that descended was absolute. Even the ambient office noises, typing, air conditioning, distant phone rings seemed to fade away. Tyler recovered first, forcing a laugh that sounded hollow even to his own ears. There must be some misunderstanding, sir. We were just having a little office fun. Team building, you know. Sage is one of us. Is that what you call it? Desmond's voice remained eerily calm as he gestured toward Tyler's phone. Filming my wife covered in soda while calling her a diversity hire is team building. Interesting approach. Scarlett stepped forward, her customer service smile firmly in place. Mr. Cameron, I apologize if things got out of hand. We have tremendous respect for Sage. She's a valued team member. So valued that you destroy her work and humiliate her? Desmond asked, picking up one of the soda-soaked reports. This analysis on the Preston Automotive account. How long did this take you, Sage? 3 weeks, Sage replied quietly. I stayed late every night this month to complete it. Desmond nodded, then turned back to the group. Where's Evelyn White? As if summoned by her name, Evelyn emerged from her office, her expression shifting from annoyance to shock as she recognized Desmond. Mr. Cameron, what an unexpected pleasure. Had I known you were visiting, you'd have what? Desmond interrupted. Hidden the racism and harassment happening under your supervision. Pretended to value my wife's contributions instead of systematically undermining her. Evelyn blanched. Your wife? Yes, Evelyn. My wife. Desmond's arm encircled Sage's waist supportively. Sage Cameron, the analyst whose groundbreaking work you've been dismissing for months while allowing this toxic environment to flourish. Evelyn's eyes darted between them, pieces falling into place. I had no idea she was your. Would it have mattered? Desmond asked sharply. Should it matter? Would you have treated her with basic human dignity if you'd known she was married to me? The question hung in the air, damning in its implications. I want everyone in the conference room. Now. Desmond's tone left no room for argument. And someone find whoever handles HR for this division. The glass-walled conference room became an impromptu tribunal. Sage sat beside Desmond at the head of the table, her composure intact, despite her stained clothing. Across from them sat Scarlett, Tyler, Brianna, and Evelyn, all avoiding eye contact. Emily Jenkins, the HR director, nervously flipped through notes while other employees lined the walls watching the unprecedented scene unfold. For 8 months, Desmond began. His voice measured. My wife has endured systematic discrimination and harassment at this company. She never mentioned our marriage because she wanted to succeed on her own merits, a courtesy none of you deserved. He gestured to a laptop where Sage's documentation of incidents was displayed in meticulous detail. Dates, times, witnesses, verbatim quotes. We have evidence of over 70 distinct incidents, he continued. Exclusion from meetings, verbal abuse, sabotaged projects, work stolen and presented as others' ideas. And today, physical assault. Scarlett shifted uncomfortably. Sir, with all due respect, if Sage was having difficulties, she should have come to HR. We have procedures, like the procedures followed when Anthony Coleman reported racial harassment last year. Sage spoke for the first time, her voice steady.